Angela, how do I conduct a trademark search? I'm Angela Langlotz, trademark and copyright attorney, and I'm going to be talking about this for the next 3 minutes. You can find me online at TrademarkDoctor.net. Like and subscribe to get all of my material. Now, before applying to register a trademark on the USPTO trademark system, the important thing is to conduct a trademark search to see if your mark is even available. Because if you apply to register a mark that is confusingly similar to something already in the trademark database, your trademark application will be refused. And the bad thing about that is that when that happens, you don't get your money back. So the trademark office says, thank you very much for the filing fee. Your application is refused. Have a nice day. They don't give you a refund. The other issue is that you don't hear back from the trademark examiner for 9 to 10 months after you file your trademark application. So if you have applied to register something and then gone along your merry way and begun using the trademark thinking that your trademark application is going to be approved, you may get a nasty surprise 9 to 10 months later when the trademark examiner finally gets back to you and says, oh, hey, applicant, hey, sorry. This is too similar to something else that we already have in the record, so we're refusing you. Have a nice day. You may have spent time and money investing in the use of that trademark. You may have printed signage. You may have made business cards and other marketing collateral with the mark on it. And now, because you can't register it because it's too close to somebody else's, you may have to redo all of that. In order to avoid that disappointment, I recommend that you hire a trademark attorney for your important trademark registrations. But if you want to conduct a preliminary search yourself, I'm going to show you how to do this. I'll shrink myself into the corner and share my screen. This is the trademark website. And then here, if I click on trademarks and go to search our trademark database, I can click on that and it will take me to the trademark search system right here. And if I click on that, it will bring up a search window. Now I can narrow what I'm searching by word mark, goods and services, owner, serial number, and a number of things. You'll probably want to search word mark if your mark contains a word. If your mark doesn't contain a word, you're probably, and is just like a symbol, you're probably going to have a very challenging time looking for that. But you can put in your trademark here. I'm just going to put in trademark and see what happens when I click. Okay, so you've got all of these trademark marks here. All right. And you can also narrow them over here by searching for live marks, pending marks, things that are registered, things that are dead. So if we don't want to see the dead marks, we can get rid of those. And we can also sort them by relevance, A to Z, Z to A, class, things like that. So that's how to use the trademark database to search. Now, the reason why you might consider hiring a trademark attorney to do the search is because there are conflicts that exist and rules about those conflicts that may not be obvious to a layperson or even to an attorney who's not accustomed to the trademark office rules. For example, there are a lot of ways that trademarks can conflict. They don't have to be exact copies of something already in the record to be a conflict. There are a whole bunch of ways that marks can conflict without being similar or identical. So it's important to know what the rules are, but unless you have a lot of experience filing trademark applications, you won't know what those are. And so when you do your search, you're not likely to find all of the possible trademark conflicts. And so you may get a nasty surprise 9 or 10 months later when the trademark examiner gets back to you about the trademark application that you filed. Now, you may not realize that goods and services don't have to be even in the same class. Goods and services are divided into classes. The goods and services don't have to be in the same class to have a conflict. For example, anything that's considered related to one another, things like sunglasses and clothing are considered related. Things like Real estate agency and real estate education. Those two things, while they're in different classes, are considered related. Why? Because it's very common for the consumer to encounter those two sets of goods together under the same trademark. For example, if you walk into Chanel, you're going to find a whole host of goods there sold together. You'll see makeup and sunglasses and cosmetics and clothing and shoes and clothing accessories. Those things may be found in different trademark classes, but because the consumer regularly experiences those things together under the same boutique or store roof, the trademark office considers those types of things to be related goods. So if there's already existing a trademark for some of those goods and you try to register a similar or same trademark for other of those goods, you very likely will get a refusal, and you may also get a nasty cease and desist letter from the trademark owner whose trademark rights you are going to be prospectively or are now stepping on. So you have to be careful about what you file so as not to provoke a rejection or a trademark cease and desist letter from another trademark owner. Goods and services can also be in the same class but not related at all. For example, those toy ant farms that you play with as a kid, those are in the same classification as those spritz cookie guns that you put the dough in and crank out the spritz cookies at Christmas time. Your grandma probably had one of those. Those are in the same trademark classification, but nobody would consider those goods to be related to one another. So the question of, is the goods classification the same for these goods? That's not a good way to see what goods are considered related. The bottom line is that if you really want to know whether or not there exists a trademark conflict, you should hire an experienced trademark attorney to handle the search and clearance of that trademark. It will save you money, and it will save you time, and it will save you headaches to hire an experienced attorney to do the trademark search for you and then brainstorm trademark strategy for you to help you get the broadest possible coverage for the least amount of money. I'm Angela Langlotz. I'm a trademark attorney, and I go here weekdays to talk about trademarks and copyrights. You can find me online at TrademarkDoctor.net. I'm also on YouTube at Trademark Doctor, where I have over 600 videos about trademark and copyright law. Like and subscribe to get more of my trademark and copyright information.